The secrets of the small shafts of the Great Pyramid. 5 underbar exploration robots in the Great Pyramid Part 2. In continuation of the previous video, the company Irobot produced the robot called Pyramid Rover together with National Geographic after Zahi Hawass, the then head of the Egyptian Antiquities Authority, and Tim Kelly, the then head of National Geographic Television, entered into a cooperation to research the pyramid shafts. The robot, which was only 12 centimeters wide, 30 centimeters long and 11 centimeters high, had a panning and tilting Sony CCD miniature video camera, a drill, as well as a lighting unit and a miniature ground radar, antenna 1.5 GHz, from Geophysical Survey Systems Inc. GSC, from New Hampshire, which could not be larger than 20 x 20 centimeters. He also had an ultrasound-based thickness gauge, manufactured by E. Olson Engineering of Colorado, to measure the thickness of the blocking stone, the so-called Gantenbrink door. For propulsion, it had 7 independent electric motors that generated 40 kilograms of tractive force. The robot was able to vary its height from 11 to 28 centimeters in order to achieve optimal traction in the shaft, which is up to 23 centimeters high. Its maximum speed was 15 feet 4.58 meters per minute. However, the average speed was only 5 feet 1.52 meters per minute in order to be able to accurately analyze the shaft while driving. In addition to drilling a hole in the blocking stone of the south shaft to visually explore the cavity behind it, his task was to explore the north shaft of the Queen's Chamber, which had previously only been partially explored. Just a few days after the television broadcast on September 17, 2002, in which Pyramid Rover drilled through the blocking stone of the south shaft, and then passed a mini camera through the hole, revealing a 19 centimeters cavity, and then another stone, the robot was sent into the north shaft. The obstacles in the north shaft that Apiaut 2 could not overcome were overcome by Pyramid Rover, and after a journey of around 63 meters the northern blocking stone was discovered, also with 2 metal pins. National Geographic made a 53-minute documentary about the mission in 2002 called Into the Great Pyramid. Chris Sondriel, who worked for National Geographic from 2001 to 2006, was the supervising producer for the Pyramid Rover. As far as reports on the Pyramid Rover mission go, there are probably only 2 from Zahi Hawass. According to a personal note from Sean Whitehead, the Jedi team's robotics specialist, a National Geographic report, still existed but was never published. The company Scowtech manufactured the robot called Jedi, which succeeded Pyramid Rover in the Pyramid of Chops in 2011. His main task was to look at the blocking stone of the south shaft of the Queen's Chamber, which had been pierced by Pyramid Rover, from behind in order to see what the metal fittings of the blocking stone looked like on the other side. Jedi had a crawler drive that allowed him to negotiate the kinks in the northern shaft with ease, a small snake-shaped camera measuring just 8 mm with 6 LEDs and a focus of 2 to 15 cm that could see around corners, sound meter and a micro RAM. It could only move 6 to 38 cm per minute, which was relatively slow. Sean Whitehead was the project manager for the Jedi team. Robert Richardson from Leeds University, head of robotics, was responsible for the robot, and Dr. Tees Chuan, engineer, dentist and independent researcher from Hong Kong, was the founder of the project. Other team members were Andrew Pickering, Leeds University, Stephen Rhodes, Manchester University, Ron Grieve, Techron, Canada, Adrian Hildred, independent researcher, UK, Arjun Nagendran Institute for Simulation and Training, University of Central Florida, USA, Jason Liu and William Mayfield, Leeds University, and Mehdi Tabi and Richard Bretner, Dassault Systems, France. The project was made possible with funding from Dassault Systems from France. The focus of the Jedi mission was the south shaft of the Queen's Chamber. Nevertheless, Jedi was also used on an experimental basis in the north shaft. It took Jedi around 6 hours to complete the ascent in the south shaft, as he also had to take a break every 45 minutes, to let the engines cool down. Jedi's 4 wheels were unpowered and were used to overcome steps or unevenness in the shaft. The front wheels were 12.6 centimeter and the rear wheels were 9 centimeters. The maximum height of the vehicle was around 18 centimeters, while the maximum total length was around 80 centimeters and the maximum total drilling length was 65 centimeters. The maximum weight of Jedi was 3.4 kilogram, although the drill including the motor alone weighed almost 0.6 kilogram. By the way, the name Jedi was named after the wise magician Jedi at the court of King Chops based on a legend. He is said to have demonstrated his magical powers to the king at the age of 110. Chops then wanted to know the secret of Thoth's chambers from Jedi, but he did not reveal this. He simply said that someone else would reveal the secret much later. This story is told in the Westcar Papyrus. According to Sean Whitehead, the Jedi team received approval from the Egyptian Antiquities Authority at the beginning of 2011 to carry out a more comprehensive examination of the entire Great Pyramid using the latest technical possibilities. However, this promise was not kept and the Jedi team kept away from the Pyramid of Chops. The reason for this is probably the chaotic conditions that the Egyptian revolution brought with it at the beginning of 2011.